Welcome to the Present Dad Podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Ricky.
And we're just normal dads talking about the ups and downs of fatherhood and the battle to remain present while still providing for our families.
So today's episode, we're actually going to talk about health.
Yeah, and we'll see how this one goes because we both have different journeys. So we think this might be a two-parter, but let's get to the episode. Health, such an important part of the dad journey, right? I think one of the pitfalls is when we're taking care of our health, we can feel like we're putting ourselves first instead of others.
Right.
But the opposite is actually true, because if we're not around, we can't actually provide or be present for our family and for our kids. Why we mentioned this could be a two-parter is we have very different health journeys. Mm-hmm. I'll kind of get into mine in the second episode, but some general details was, I grew up very, very unhealthy, right? Poor eating habits. I was way overweight. Started a health journey about a year and a half ago now, which has changed everything in my ability to be present. But that's not your story. You've always been an athlete, always in shape. So tell me kind of what that looked like, because obviously there's something in your family, in your home when you were younger that was provided for you that like kind of encouraged this healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, I think, I grew up around sports, so that was a big part of it, particularly basketball. My dad played basketball. He was my coach all the way up to high school. It was always in the gym pretty much as long as I can remember. We spent multiple nights a week at practice, so multiple hours for doing that, and then all weekend in the gym playing multiple levels, multiple teams. Probably unhealthy, a little too far the other way, definitely at times. So that was just a natural thing. Health-wise, like eating habits and things like that, it wasn't necessarily something that we talked about a lot. I have a stepmom who's diabetic, so there was kind of a little bit of a joke of when I was at that house, whoever went to the grocery store, you could tell because dad would buy the sugary cereal because he liked to eat the sugary cereal before bed. So we always loved that as, kids. But if my stepmom was shopping, she was getting the non-sugar-free or the sugar-free cereal because she was diabetic and she couldn't have it. So, or she couldn't have the sugary cereal. And so that was a part of kind of growing up that led into a lot of the general fitness, lots of running, that kind of stuff with just the sport I played. There's also the aspects of genetically. I'm very similar to my dad. We have faster metabolisms. Those things help. But then the fitness journey for me really changed end of high school into college because I started actually having a lot of injuries and health issues because of one, genetics, but two, just the wear and tear from all that sports from
years and years and years. Okay, that makes sense. So then you had the basketball piece, and then you had to stop playing basketball.
Right.
But you don't want to stop being healthy, obviously, right? So what did that transition look like for you? Because I think there's a lot of dads out there where maybe they were the high school athlete or the college athlete, and then that phase ended and they haven't been able to get back on the train of like being fit. So like, what did that transition look like for you that was successful and what worked?
Yeah, I think that was a huge part. When I played basketball from 4 years old all the way through high school, loved it, played other sports in high school as well. But basketball being the most, straining and strenuous and one that I loved. And so not going and playing in college because I'm 5'10" and wasn't in the cards to keep playing. Actually, one of the main issues was as I was finishing my senior year, I actually had a lot of pain and issues with my back. And so that was really starting to be a hindrance, especially as I got out of college, when the mandatory weightlifting class or whatever those things, the natural things that we would do together as a team fell off. I had taken a break from basketball, was still working out somewhat, but nothing consistent. And the issues that I had in my back, so I have scoliosis and spondylosis and these different things. So like I have a degenerative disc disease. So the disc in my back was starting to go away and I was having issues with the vertebrae touching each other, starting back spasms to the point where like it was hard to breathe. I'd be like stuck.
Sure.
I was working at church at one point, was trying to go up or was prepping, worship was going on to go up on stage for a sermon, and my back just locked up and I'm like laying in the sound booth just trying to catch my breath so I can go like do a sermon.
So you can move.
I wasn't doing anything. I was just standing. Those sorts of things became that marker for me being young in that era or that time period to go, I need to start getting back to consistency. Saw a doctor, talked about how important core strength was for my back, which I never thought of because I was just a kid that just wanted to play basketball. and then starting to actually understand the health aspects and like how muscles work and why those things are important, was able to get on a new path to actually, hey, I want to take care of my body long term, because as I was young and married, and you don't want to be a 21-year-old young and married and like can't go hang out and do stuff with your friends because you're having back spasms like you're 60 or 70 years old. So that became a shift for me of, I actually need to figure out how do I take care of myself instead of just do this so that I could play basketball.
So you really had a wake up call kind of moment then, where it was like, man, if I don't change something, this does not look good 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road.
Yeah. I mean, I was 18, so I was graduated high school. I was 18 and met with a doctor and was asked multiple questions and said, well, if I were to compare it, your back is like 40 or 50-year-old at 18. And then was told, and if we don't change now, surgery's going to happen very soon.
Right.
And he said, and I've never done or had to refer someone out to a back surgery this young for something like this. So we need to start working so that we don't have to. And praise the Lord, 31 now. Yep. Did that math right? 31 now, and haven't had to have that back surgery, and don't live in back pain because I was able to start to shift even my perspective of what's the point of working out? What's the point of being healthy? What's the point of it used to serve so that I could play basketball. Now it serves so that I can do the things around me, like be there for my family and carry my kids around when we went to the San Diego Zoo, and I'm not exhausted. Right.
Right. You're taking the health serious for obvious reasons, right? Like no one wants a back surgery, even in your 30s. That's not a good thing, right? That kind of thing.
Trying to avoid that.
100%. And so obviously there's some routines that you've built into your life. And as we get into these, as we're talking about these routines, and we are not doctors.
No,
we are not experts. We're actually going to be doing a podcast here soon on the power of having experts in your life kind of thing. And this kind of fits in, but we're just going to talk about what's worked for us. Right. Yeah. So what's worked for you? Cause here's what I've learned on my health journey, and maybe you agree or disagree. Exercise and nutrition are kind of key to keeping your body in good shape.
Yep.
So what's maybe on the nutrition side or the exercise side? Where do you want to start? And then let's kind of talk about both of those.
I'll start exercise. Okay. So like a lot of people, COVID was one of those moments of like, hey, let's change some things in our lifestyle.
Yep.
I was working a lot, doing a master's degree at the time, in person, just super go. This was before my wife and I had kids, but we're married, but we were just both in school, both doing master's programs, and then working 50, 60 hours a week at a church. And so health was not something that was being taken very seriously, particularly not working out. And so I was doing basically enough to appease the doctor so I could keep pushing surgery down the road.
Like you don't want another bad appointment.
Yeah,
like that was the goal.
And his goal was to do everything I could so I wasn't just taking a bunch of pain meds every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so COVID helped. We ended up in that time going, hey, my wife was starting to go to the gym. She couldn't go to the gym anymore. And so we just bought a bunch of stuff to build a home gym.
Cool.
Which was great. And built it, put it all together, and just did great through COVID. And then like a lot of people, a lot of that stuff fell off after COVID.
Sure.
And I'm a competitive and disciplined person when it's around something that I care about. And I hadn't really built the habit of wanting to go into the garage in Arizona, where in the summer it's 140 degrees in there, and work out. But I like doing things with people. I'm very I want to talk to people. I want to be I'm competitive to the point of I like competitive as long as it's relational with people I like.
Sure.
That just helps spur me on because I like the trash talk, and that's like my favorite part of doing it. It's just joking with friends. And so we actually, me and 4 other buddies, put a little competition together of whoever over the next year could do the most workouts, they would win. And then the person with the lowest had to buy dinner for everybody else. And it just turned into, hey, this is a year-long commitment now from all of us. That was the marker that really shifted to, I was doing this. I was seeing the growth that I wanted to see. I was no longer having back pain. I was no longer having the issues, and now I was actually seeing the positive benefit.
Love it.
As well as just having fun with friends. Sometimes they would come over and we'd work out together, and
sweet,
which was just great. A great time of I was other, 3 other young guys my age that were going to the garage and working out and pushing each other and just having fun and listening to music. And that became, oh man, I really like doing this. And so that eventually became my routine, where it was 4 to 5 times a week. I'm in, working out 30 minutes to an hour as best I possibly can. But it had to start with, I needed some other people to talk to about it. I wasn't just going to
You needed that community. You weren't just going to go do it yourself.
Right.
Okay, cool.
And like the conversation, my wife was, if she listens to this, she's not an athlete. She's a theater kid, or was. I'll say she wasn't an athlete.
There you go.
And our gym experience looked different. She wanted to go to, a local gym and have other people around. And I hate that. I don't want to have to sit and wait.
I don't want to wait for the machine.
I've got a lot of things going on. I don't want to sit and wait 45 minutes for a bench press to be open. So I built the gym at home. My wife never wants to use it because it's hot out there and she likes to talk to other people. And so that was even one that I love having conversations with my wife about fitness and things like that and our nutrition. But our journeys were so different because she was a theater kid and I was, and she'd be like, you're doing great. You're looking great. And I love the memes that are how girls encourage each other in the gym versus how guys, where it's like, harder, push more, another rep. And I need that. I want a guy there helping me going like, man, that's awesome. What's next week? What's next week?
Absolutely.
And that was, learning that about myself became helpful to the fitness journey specifically. And then that goes into kind of the nutrition piece too. But.
Absolutely. So with that, you're working out 4 or 5 days a week, right? It's part of your routine.
Yeah.
That guilt can come in for some dads. That's like, but I'm taking an hour away from my kids. How do you balance that? When maybe when do you work out? What's that? How does that affect other areas of your life? Because like, I'll be on social media and I'll see like the 4 a.m. guys, right?
Yeah, that's not me.
I've tried it.
Yeah,
I did it this morning. It was awesome. But it's like, man, I'm a night owl guy. Like I like staying up late, and that doesn't cooperate with 4 a.m. kind of thing. So how do you balance it? What's it look like for you? What's that schedule?
It looks like talking with my wife. So like, because we're in the stage where both of our kids are so little and she's home with them. So they're not at school. It really depends on the day. Lots of times it's come home, start helping get dinner going, spend time playing with my girls. And then before bedtime at some point, usually I try and plan it so I can get 45 minutes between dinner and bedtime.
Absolutely.
And because mine is in the garage, I don't have to drive anywhere. So the door can be open.
Big deal.
My wife or daughters can pop in and out. If I hear screaming, crying, I can pop back in and help. But it's really dependent on how her day went a lot of times. She goes to a gym here now that's like a HIIT style workout. So it's an hour-long class. She signs up for, takes the girls with her. So I try and time it around that a lot of times too. If she's going, okay, that's when I try and get my workout in. So we're not missing time. But the beauty is, when, like we've talked about in previous episodes, when you have that conversation with your kids, like my 3-year-old, for instance, she's aware enough that, hey, this is, like she knows the gym. Like when my wife says, oh, I'm going to the gym, Rory goes with her, and she has her gym friends that she calls them. And so she watches, she wants to go out there. She wants to go in the gym with me. And so the other day she was out there picking up I don't know how, my daughter is very petite. She's very small. We went bowling. She was picking up a 14-pound bowling ball, literally picked it up. And I was like, what? Stop,
she's an
put
athlete.
it down.
Yeah,
like,
you're going to hurt yourself.
But she goes out and picks up the little dumbbells and stuff like that. So she's seeing that. So that's a part of, it does take time. But it has to be scheduled in, and it has to be a conversation of like, when does fit with our family. I'm not a morning workout person. I want to have my pre-workout. I want to sit. I want to get in the right headspace and then go. I want to enjoy that time, because it's not, for me, it's not just about lifting and the fitness. Like that's a huge part of it, but it's also that time to clear my mind. So I really like it at the end of the day or after the work day. But so then if I have the perfect time frame, come home, I'm with my family, we have dinner, we do everything. I get to go out and kind of decompress. And then when the kids are in bed, then I just have that time with my wife where my head is clear. I'm okay. I got any stress out in the gym, and now we can just spend that time together, as opposed to I'm still kind of swirling from the day and spun up and have all this extra built up like stress that I feel. And for me, just the morning has never worked, and I would rather sleep every extra minute I could personally, because I'm more of a night owl.
I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing intentionality, right? Even if it's not a set routine, but like you're always intentional and making sure that's in. Sound like it's a calendar priority for you. Like we got to get this in. And then it's also, based on what you were saying there, a decompression piece, right? Like part of how you're present with your family is that's part of your unloading of the day.
Yeah.
Is that work in the gym?
Yeah. And I think instead of a time frame, we've worked really hard in our family to build it more around specific days. So like Tuesdays for us are late here. So Tuesdays is not a workout day. Sunday is a workout day because after church, the girls, you know, everyone takes a nap. I go hit the gym. And so I just try and spread it out where Thursday or Friday could be an off day. Saturday I can get up early. Sunday I can get up. And so like, it does take away from some of the sleep in workout because I try and get it not early, but in the morning on Saturday. But it's more looking at my week and picking the days that I know I'm going to work out.
Got it.
As opposed to the time. And that's been helpful for me because our, you know, day to day with our girls is so up and down. I know, okay, well, if it's Wednesday, I'm going to get a workout in and I'm coming home and my wife's like, they were crazy. Okay, I know I'm still getting that workout on Wednesday because I'm going to hit my goal for the week. But now I just, it's 8 o'clock once the girls are asleep, or it's 9 o'clock when the girls are asleep.
And that's the discipline part, like we talk about regularly.
And keeping that routine.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what.
Absolutely.
But and one thing for me, I like my app tracks your streaks of how many weeks you've hit the goal.
Love it.
And so like as that number gets up,
I'm not losing my
more,
streak, man.
Then the hard part I think is when it falls off, and like when I miss, and then I miss the next week, and it's like, well, I've missed 2 weeks in a row. Like you have to go back to what's the purpose of doing this. And mine is, one, I want to feel good. I want to be healthy for my girls, and I want to keep their routine because I know ultimately me treating my body well serves me, my family, and ultimately the Lord. So
love that. Love that. So let's say we got a dad out there listening right now, and he's maybe he was an athlete in the past, right? And he's like, okay, I know I need to do something.
Yeah.
What's that advice you give him? What's that tip you give him to kind of get things rolling? Because this can seem like a daunting thing, right? Because if folks aren't listening with trained ears, it sounds like, man, I got to go buy a home gym.
Yeah.
I got it right. So like, what do you think are those first steps for someone who's like, all right, I'm ready to make a bigger commitment to my health?
Yeah, I think you got to know what is going to ultimately motivate you. So you got to figure that out first. For me, it was the back pain. The fact that I get up every morning, don't have back pain, was huge. So that's been a motivator for me to keep doing it. If that is, you know, hey, I played sports, I usually, or maybe I never have, you know, and but I am now wanting to be fit. There's a lot of stuff you can do without a whole home gym, without investing thousands of dollars. There's so much online, but I would say commit to one thing. There's so many apps and different things that at times it's overwhelming. And so, you know, find one, do a little research, find one that you think will work for you, that you can, if you're going to go to a local gym, that will help you at a local gym, or if you're going to try and do stuff at home that has some body weight stuff and maybe some light dumbbell stuff, but it's just start. That's step one, is you have to start and just stay committed to going forward with the journey. I'm a hobby person. I like to pick up a lot of other hobbies and just try stuff just for fun. But this is one that I understand the long-term benefit for myself. And so I have to just be willing to start. You brought up nutrition at the start, and I haven't really talked on that, but for me, that's one that's hard. Okay.
That's the getting to the gym's not the struggle for you.
Like the nutrition pieces. And so, you know, the people here that I work with or at our job know, like, there's a lot of jokes about I eat like a middle schooler.
Yeah. Some would say a toddler.
A toddler, you know, I like Uncrustables. When I was in a classroom setting, my students would always joke about, like, I always had a Pop-Tart every morning. It was just like that's how I grew up. So that's how I lived. Nutrition was not a thing. It was just like, we just ate what was there.
Yeah.
And so that's one, try to be better at, for the sake of my family, for my those that are watching, things like that. But knowing, like, for me, that's always been the hardest part is, you know, trying to plan out and get ahead and meal prep on Sunday and do all those things. And so we've gotten better at it as a family. We've tried to turn it into a time where on Sunday when we're meal prepping, we're having fun. My wife's helping me do it. We're, you know, while this is happening, we're still playing with the girls. We're doing all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. Or have them be a part of it as best we can. Or it's, you know, sometimes has to happen at Sunday at 10 o'clock at night. So, you know, it goes back to the financial piece. And so we keep the budget right. And so that we're not trying to go out to eat and Uber Eats food to work and all that kind of stuff. But that has been the hardest part. And so same thing though, I just find things, the resources around apps or people that are insightful and helpful to go, okay, what's the lowest barrier of entry that I can start this journey on? And then I'm going to go through that. So there's a lot of chicken and rice. And it is boring. And it is like, man, I wish I was really skilled at cooking all these meal prep things like the people I see on TikTok, and I try them and they're not good because I don't know how to cook them right.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, but it's just, I'm going to keep going down that path. And having people around that are doing it with you and that are excited for you and want to see it. I know like in the last year and a half, as you started that journey, like, and we'll talk about on the next episode, like there's something about, even if you've done it for years or you're just starting, when you talk to other people that are excited and encouraging, it keeps you going.
Yep, absolutely.
And fitness is a hard one for people that as they get into it, because we plateau. Right. And people's plateau of like their fitness journey and goals is at a different spot. And so you have to just continue to remind yourself that the baseline has to be what's ultimately motivating me to do this.
Absolutely.
And if it's not something that you have a clear goal on, you'll stop as soon as you hit. If it's the goal is a particular weight or the goal is a particular body fat percentage or things like that, it's really hard to keep going after that.
100% agree.
Right. And that's why it's not just fitness, it's overall, I want to be healthy.
And that's that community part with other dads or other friends like that you're talking about. Like I was, one of my buddies is in town last night and he'd already worked out, you know, and I was like, well, let's get together. Right. And like, we both already had dinner and he's like, well, do you cold plunge? And I'm like, I know I should, right. You know, kind of thing. And
I'm not doing the cold water.
well, we did.
I'll watch from the sidelines,
you know, kind of thing. So we met at the gym and, you know, did the dry sauna and then did the cold plunge after. Right. And I'm like standing in my waist. He's like, just get in, man. Right. And it's only that motivation. Right. Like, and I'm sitting there like, he's like, just talk through it. I'm like, oh, I'm trying.
I can't talk.
My mouth won't move. You know, kind of thing. But it's that same idea, right? Of like, I was at this plateau of like, no, I'm going up to my waist and that's plenty. And he's like, no, come on. You got more. It's just so cool that, you know, to hear that that's not just me, right? That's everybody. And there's motivation that comes along with that. So, and you know, one of the things that you mentioned with the nutrition piece with the meal prepping, what a great way to be present.
Right.
Kids love cooking, right? And the idea that like, even if it's just chicken and rice, you know what? There's times food is not for enjoyment. It's just fuel.
Yep.
Right. And the idea that like, man, my kids would love to like take the scoops of rice and put them in every little thing and take a piece of chicken and put it in everything. They love putting the marinade on the chicken. You know, you can combine the being present with the things that have to get done as a family. So I love that you guys are tackling that.
And just your kids seeing, like, I think one of the things that's so important that we forget at times as parents is what your kids are seeing matters. So like the things that are important to you, your kids should see you doing.
Absolutely.
And so fitness is one of those. For us being Christians that go to church, our kids knowing that is a part of our rhythm and it's something that is important.
Yep.
I want them to see that. I want them to see me in the word. I want them to see me praying. I want them to see me going, okay, hey, I love you, but me taking care of myself is not trying to not be with you. It's so that I can be with you, hopefully, you know, Lord willing, for a very long time into the future. You know, we can't predict that. We don't know for sure, but these are the things that we know help maintain that for a long time. And so that becomes a marker that then hopefully they pick up and see this is a part of, and just always has been a part of a journey. Like you said at the start, it wasn't something you grew up with. And so you didn't do it into the future because you didn't see it. And so, you know, I didn't see my parents working out a lot in the gym. So I always associate it with as a part of basketball. When basketball ended, I didn't keep doing it because I didn't have basketball.
Right.
Now knowing how important it is to my back and just as a personal piece, now I'm keep doing that. And I want my kids to see like, this is something we do as a part of health.
Absolutely.
And it's a part of the routine and we can do it together. We can be present with one another through it. You know, I love that my girls get to see my wife at the gym and she's now on a new journey of like wanting to get stronger, wanting to lift, wanting to do those things. And now I watch our 3-year-old want to go do that with mom, which is she wants to go to these little kid camps that the gym puts on and she wants to be a part of that. it's really cool to see. And if she's not an athlete in the future, she at least knows the basics of, hey, this is important. Whether I'm an athlete or not, I should still be taking care of my body.
And and that, what a healthy habit to want as a little one, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like, I want tablets, I want to work out and be healthy.
Yep.
Praise God. Like, it's so cool.
And I think that's one of the things I would say at just kind of wrapping up is, if you have this perception of like, I'm not an athletic person, that you don't have to be an athletic person to work to maintain good health. There's so many tools. And like, if you go to I get overwhelmed at some of the gyms. So like, that's why I use apps too that help. Okay. How do I, what does this machine do?
Absolutely.
Because, I had an old school weights coach that was like, we use the barbell and dumbbells
and that's it.
There's no machines. But there's so many different things. Like I'm not athletic is a barrier that I think we put on ourselves. Like maybe you have not been athletic in the past. You were like my wife in theater club at high school. Okay. It doesn't mean you can't now learn how to slowly build, and you will not be going and lifting crazy weight right away.
Absolutely.
That's okay. That's not the goal. It's, I'm going to continue to get slowly and slightly better.
And it doesn't take that much of a difference in your health to feel an amazing difference in your energy. Right. Which allows you to provide and be present better. So that's
and I know I feel when I lose that, I'm a week or so out of the gym because things got busy. We're up at camps or doing whatever. And all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm just feeling tired. I'm feeling drained ways I wouldn't, because I'm not in my routine. I'm not doing things that are giving life to my body.
Awesome. Well, if you're looking for a starter little workout on our presentdad.life website, we've got a 12-minute home workout that's listed there. It's nothing fancy. It's all just body weight stuff. But if you're looking, as Ricky was saying, to just get started, that's there. If you enjoyed today, be sure to leave a 5-star review for us and hit that follow button. And thanks for listening to the Present Dad podcast today. Keep being present, keep providing, and keep being a great dad.
Bye, y'all.